Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today, kind of a different sort of video for the Stuff and Things channel. I hope it will be interesting for you. I think it's going to be interesting for me. Today, we're talking about grammar. Now, some of you out there will have noticed that I at least try to speak, quote, correctly for the most part. And obviously, when I'm talking to you in a lot of videos, it's more casual, so I'm not too pedantic about it. I have had a few people point out in comments that I am an insufferable prick when it comes to grammar. I don't think I'm too, stuffy about it or anything like that. I'm not super highly educated or anything, but I do like to at least think that I have a pretty good grasp of the English language and English grammar. In fact, I sort of jokingly said that my New Year's resolution for this year was going to be to correct people's grammar when I heard them make mistakes, which obviously I'm not actually going to do, but sometimes I think it's funny to correct people, and they often do not think it's funny when I correct them. So someone in the comments a while back actually asked me if I would take a grammar test to see whether or not my grammar level is as high as I sort of think it is. And I don't think it's amazingly high. I have some education. I've done some reading in the past and some writing. I think my grammar level is pretty good as far as the English language goes, which is my native language. So I thought it might be fun to take a grammar test and see what my level is. So let's jump in. Okay, so I did a lot of searching around online trying to find a good test. I found several different ones. This one is the Oxford Online English Level Test for Grammar. And I think this is supposed to be geared more towards people who are trying to learn English as a second language, but it should give me a fairly, maybe decent indication of where my grammar level is. And if you guys want to go and follow along with this, the URL is oxfordonlineenglish.com/english-level-test/grammar. So let's see. It says there are 40 questions in total. You will get your results after you answer all of the questions. Some of the questions are easier. Some are more difficult. Don't worry if you don't know the answer. Try not to use books or other websites during the test. The idea is to find your natural level. All right. I think I'm pretty good at English grammar. Let's see if that's actually the case. Start. Question 1. Where blank they from? Where are they from? Where am they from? Where is they from? Where isn't they from? The answer is A. Where are they from? Okay, question 2. He blank ever works as blank as he should. He hardly ever works as hardly as he could. Okay, the answer is he hardly ever works as hard as he should. B. Here we go. Question 3. So far, so good. If it's this kind of thing, I think I can get it. I don't know where she is. I suppose she blank got stuck in traffic. I suppose she might have got stuck in traffic. I suppose she can have got stuck. She should have got stuck, or she must have got stuck. I'm going to say might because the suppose here is not, you're not sure, you are supposing. So then if you say must, that indicates a surety. So I'm going to say she might have got stuck in traffic. All right, next. How did this blank broken? How did this be broken? Hey, how did this be broken? How did this was broken? How did this become broken? How did this get broken? I'm going to say get because get assumes more of agency, like not the object's agency, but something else is breaking it. And an item isn't just going to break itself. So if you say become, that suggests maybe it just broke itself. So I'm going to say get. How did this get broken? We'll see. I wouldn't say that to him if I blank you. I wouldn't say that to him if I were you, if I was you, if I am you, if I would be you. The answer, in my opinion, is A. I wouldn't say that to him if I were you. Next. How many questions are there? 40? All right, this will be a while. I blank been hit by a car, but luckily I just managed to get out of the way. I could have been hit by a car. I might have been hit by a car. I may have been hit by a car. I can have been. I'm going to say could have been. I could have been hit by a car. Next, how long have they blanked there? Been waited there? Waiting there? Waited there? Been waiting there? How long have they been waiting there? I think is the correct answer. Next, blank spent time abroad when I was a student. I found it easier to get used to blank in another country. So having spent time abroad, I found it easier to get used to living in another country. That sounds right to me. To have spent time abroad, no. Having spent time abroad, I found it easier to get used to live in another country. No. So the question is answered by A. That's a weird way of saying that. The answer to the question is A. Having spent time abroad when I was a student, I found it easier to get used to living in another country. This might be interesting for some of you. I know I have quite a few international viewers. Frogs and throats today. And maybe you have questions about English grammar. Maybe this will answer some of your questions. Next. It was the first time he blank anything so spicy. It was the first time he has eaten anything. He had been eating anything. He was eating anything or had eaten. So we will say had eaten because we're talking about something that happened in the past. It was the first time he had eaten anything so spicy. I spent too much time blank. I'd like blank more time for myself and my family. I spend too much time working. We want to do working, not to work. So I spend too much time working. I'd like to have more time. I'd like having more time. I'd like, so it should be to have. I'd like to have more time for myself. I'd like having more time just doesn't sound correct to me. I suppose I've heard people say things like that, but to me it should be I spend too much time working. I'd like to have more time for myself and my family. Question 11. By next month, I blank all my exams and I can relax. I will be finishing all my exams. I will have been finishing all my exams. I will finish all my exams. I will have finished. I would say I will have finished all my exams and I can relax. Take a sandwich with you, blank, you get hungry later. Take a sandwich with you in case you get hungry. If you get hungry, so as not to you get hungry when you get hungry. I will say in case you get hungry later. Next, I've already called her 4 times before, again, yesterday, or today. I've already called her 4 times before, no, again, no, yesterday, no, today. I've already called her 4 times today. If you were talking about yesterday, you would say I had already called her 4 times yesterday, or I called her 4 times yesterday. So I've already called her 4 times today. She blank in a small house near the park. She lives in a small house near the park. That's pretty simple. I think they said, yeah, some are difficult, some are easy. So that was a very easy one. I was blank exhausted by the end of the day. So this is interesting. It says, I was incredibly exhausted. I was completely exhausted. I was extremely. I was very. So all of those sound like they could be correct. But they want us to pick one, and I'm assuming one is the right answer. So if we look at exhausted, that is a pretty strong statement. Like you could say, I was tired. That doesn't sound as strong as exhausted. So I'm going to say completely. That just seems right to me. I was completely exhausted by the end of the day. Yeah. All right. She blank have short hair, but now it's long. She used to have short hair. She used to have short hair. She didn't have short hair, but now it's long. She before have short hair. So it should be she used to, not used to. She used to have short hair. All right. I blank to Germany last year. I went is correct. So this is another easy one. I gone to Germany, obviously not correct. I go to Germany last year, no, but that's a common mistake I hear people make if they're speaking English as a second language. I goed to Germany last year. No, it is I went to Germany last year. Question 18. I mean, I'm saying all these with a lot of surety, but I guess we'll find out at the end whether or not I'm correct. Could you tell me where is the bus stop? So you could imagine someone speaking English as a second language saying, could you tell me where is the bus stop? Could you tell me the bus stop is where? Could you tell me where the bus stop is? Could you tell me is where the bus stop? So where the bus stop is. Question 19. I drink coffee twice a day, 2 times day, 2 times for a day. Twice a day is correct. I blank like getting up early. I am not like, I doesn't like, I don't like is the correct answer. Question 21. Where blank he work? Where don't he work? Where does he work? Where is he work? Where do he work? Hey, where do we work? Where does he work would be correct in that situation. I wish he blank so rude to people when we go out. I wish he hadn't been so rude to people. I wish he wouldn't be so rude to people. I wish he won't be. I wish he didn't be. I would say wouldn't be. If you're saying hadn't been, I wish he hadn't been so rude to people when we went out would be more correct, because you're talking about something that might happen in the future. So I wish he wouldn't be. Do you think it's blank rain tomorrow? Do you think it's will rain tomorrow? Do you think it's going rain tomorrow? Do you think it's to rain tomorrow? Do you think it's going to rain tomorrow? Would be the correct answer. We're over halfway through, gang. She's wearing a long, beautiful black dress. A long, black, beautiful dress. I'd be putting commas in between these things, by the way, but we'll forego that for now. She's wearing a black, long, beautiful dress. She's wearing a beautiful, long, black dress. This is a little bit more tricky. I'm leaning towards beautiful, long, black, because beautiful is an opinion. And then long and black are, verifiable fact. So I don't want to mix those up. I don't want to say something that is a fact and then opinion and then a fact, or fact, opinion. I guess long, black, beautiful. I'm going to go with this. This just feels right to me. Beautiful, long, black dress. I guess we'll see. Question 25. Whose bag is this? It's blank. It's of me. It's mine. It's the mine. It's my. Obviously, it is B. It's mine. If I had more time, comma, I blank do more exercise. I would do. I'm going to do. I want to. I will do. So some of these could sound correct to you, but from the context, if I had more time, I would do. So it's like conditional. If I had the time, I would do this thing. And to me, that sounds correct. Winters here or winters there, blank be really cold sometimes. Might be really cold sometimes. Can be really cold sometimes. May be really cold, or could be. I'm going to say can. Winters there can be really cold sometimes. Question 28. He drives quite blank, but his brother drives really blank. All right, so we're talking about adverbs here. Driving, you're doing something. It is an action. You're describing an action. You're describing, or basically you're modifying a verb. So he drives quite slowly would be proper, but his brother drives really fast. So we don't have a word fastly. That's not a thing. But again, you're doing an adverb. In common English, you would say he drives quite slowly, but his brother drives really fast. I would maybe say quickly, because quickly is an adverb, and again, you're modifying drives here, which is which is a verb. So you could say his brother is fast, but his brother drives quickly. I would like to say quickly rather than fast, but the best option here is he drives quite slowly, but his brother drives really fast. So that's what I'm going to go with. If he blank 1 minute later, he blank the train. If he had arrived 1 minute later, he would have missed the train. Sounds good to me. If he would have arrived 1 minute later, he would have missed the train. If he would arrive 1 minute later, he would miss the train. If he arrived 1 minute later, he would have missed the train. If he had arrived 1 minute later, he would have missed the train. That's what I would say. Some of these seem like they could be correct as well. If he arrived 1 minute later. No, that's not conditional. So if he would have arrived 1 minute later, he would, yeah. If he would have arrived, he would have missed. You could do that too, I guess. If he would have arrived. No, if he had arrived. This is correct. That sounds correct to me. I guess we'll see. Hopefully they'll give us explanations at the end, but to me that just sounds correct. I'll send it to you as soon as I get the money. Sounds right to me. In case I get the money, no. Until I get the money, no. Unless I get the money, no. I guess depending on context, maybe you're going to be selling, you're waiting for money, but if you don't get the money, you're going to have to sell some item to somebody, and so you'll say to them, I'll send it to you unless I get this money. but we're not going to assume all those things. So we'll just say, I'll send it to you as soon as I get the money. Seems the most correct. Question 31. Let's go to the cinema. Great idea. What film blank we watch? What film shall we watch? What film do we watch? What film are we going to we watch? What film will we watch? In America, you wouldn't typically say shall, but I know this is a British, I think this is a British site here, so we're going to say shall. That is probably technically correct. What film shall we watch? So that's what I'm going to go with. This smells, or that smells good. What are you cooking? What are you cook? What do you cook? What do you cooking? Are you cooking is correct. 33. The house is blank, but also blank. The house is more big, but also more expensive. No. The house is bigger, but also expensiver. No. Expensiver is not a word. The house is more big, but also expensiver. No. Once again, expensiver is not a word. The house is bigger, but also more expensive. That is correct. But they blank be away. I saw them this morning. But they mustn't be away. I saw them this morning. No, because that is not... That's putting your opinion into it. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. You mustn't be doing that. It's not. That's not the kind of sentence this is. But they can't be away. I saw them this morning. Sounds right to me. But they shouldn't be away. I saw them this morning. But they don't have to be away. It should be can't be. Question 35. She's from blank, so she speaks blank. She's from Spanish, so she speaks Spain. No. She's from Spain, so she speaks Spanish. Yes. She's from Spanish, so she speaks Spanish. She's from Spain, so she speaks Spainese. I like that. We should add Spainese to the vocabulary, but it should be Spain and Spanish. The film directed by Quentin Tarantino. The film was directed by Quentin Tarantino. The film did directed by Quentin Tarantino. The film was direct. Was directed is correct. Next, put blank bag on blank table, then give me blank apple and blank bar of chocolate. Okay, so we're going to get to A and there. Put a bag on the table, then give me an apple and the bar of chocolate. Okay. Put the bag on the table, then give me a apple and a bar of chocolate. No, it's not a apple, it is an apple. So we know that's wrong. Put the bag on the table, then give me an apple and a bar of chocolate. So it could be that. Or put a bag on a table, then give me the apple and the bar of chocolate. I mean, it could be if there were many tables and many bags. So you were talking about one of those. To me, put a bag on the table, then give me an apple and the bar of chocolate. I would say here, give me, because you're saying an apple. So you're saying not specifically a certain apple, you're saying an apple. And so that suggests maybe it's not a specific bar of chocolate, but a bar of chocolate. So I'm going to say this one. Put the bag on the table, then give me an apple and a bar of chocolate. It could be this one, though, too. If there's only one bar of chocolate, you would say the bar of chocolate. We'll see. We'll see. I'm busy on Friday, so I blank come. I can't come. Not I don't come, not I am not come, not can come. It would be can't. We have just a couple more questions. I'd love to blank in the 19th century. I'd love to lived. No. I'd love to have been lived. No. I'd love to live in the 19th century. I'd love to have lived. Would be correct because the 19th century has passed. We are now in the 21st century. So I'd love to live in the 19th century. It's too late, but you'd love to have lived. That makes sense. Last question. That wasn't a good idea. You blank thought about it more carefully. You have to thought about it. You ought have thought about it. You must have thought about it. You should have is correct. All right. That's it. That's question 40. Let's see how I did. Get results. 39 out of 40. Upper intermediate. What did I get wrong? What? Okay, so let's go through these here. Question 1 is correct. Yeah, I mean, I've already explained a lot of these, so I don't think we need to worry too much about these. Let's just go to what I got wrong. Wrong. How did this become broken? I said get. Didn't I say get? How did this get broken? Maybe I accidentally clicked become. What did I say? I swear I said get. Let's go back to the tape. How did this was broken? How did this become broken? How did this get broken? I'm going to say get because get assumes more of agency, like not the object's agency, but something else is breaking it. And an item isn't just going to break itself. So if you say become, that suggests maybe it just broke itself.
So I'm going to say get.
How did this get broken? So I accidentally unclicked the get. So it made it so I did not get the answer correct. So basically, I got 40 out of 40. I got everything right. I really did. You saw it. You heard me. I went back. I showed you the footage. Ugh. So now I have to go through this whole test again, click everything correct, all the answers that I actually did to get 40 out of 40, and then see what my level would be. So we'll be right back. Okay, so I redid it all, answering the things that I actually answered the first time. So when we saw the results before, it said that I got one wrong, but it was the one that I actually knew, and I just accidentally clicked off the thing. So we've got it all back here. It says that my grammar level is Advanced CEF Level C1, C2. I don't know what that means. I'm going to look that up right now, and then we'll go through some of these answers. Let's see. Advanced CEFR Level C1, 2. Let's see. Common European Framework for Reference for Language. Advanced... What was it again? CEF Level C1, C2. Proficient, Independent, Basic. Okay. Master of Proficiency. Okay, so I'm a proficient user. C1, Effective Operational Proficiency or Advanced, or Mastery or Proficiency. Can understand with ease virtually everything heard or read. Can summarize information from different spoken and written sources, reconstructing arguments and accounts in a coherent presentation. Can express themselves spontaneously, very fluently and precisely, differentiating finer shades of meaning even in the most complex situations. Sounds about right. All right, let's go through some of these answers here. There were some that could have gone either way, but it just felt right to me, so that's why I answered them the way that I did. So let me just kind of scan through these, and we'll see if there are any of them that were kind of strange. Okay, so here's the shall. I picked shall. It says here, we use shall for offer suggestions when we ask a question. We don't really do that very often in the United States, but they do in the UK, and I just assumed it would be shall. I think if you were talking to an American, they would say, they'd probably say movie instead of film, and they'd say, what movie should we watch? They'd probably say should, not shall. All right, let's see if there's anything else that stuck out to me. Okay, yeah, here's the one where I said it should be completely exhausted, and it says exhausted has a strong meaning, so we can only use certain adverbs. In the same way, you can't say I was completely tired, because completely can only be used with adjectives which have a strong meaning. I understand what they're saying here, and that's why I picked completely, and we're talking about getting down to brass tacks here. If you were just in casual conversations, you could say, I was incredibly exhausted. It would be fine. But for, I guess, super formal writing or something where you're trying to be extremely precise, then I guess completely would be correct. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, so here's the one. This is the last one that I could really think of. The beautiful long black dress. And they do say here, adjectives of opinion, like beautiful, go before adjectives of fact, like long and black. I'd never heard that as a hard and fast rule, but that's what they're saying here. And I picked that because it just seemed more correct to me. If you have several adjectives, they need to go in a certain order. There is a rule, although it's too complicated to remember when you're speaking. The best way is to use your instinct. If one way sounds better, then it probably is better. I guess that's kind of what I went with, but I did mention how beautiful is an opinion, and long and black are fact, and that's how I got to that answer. So there you go. I am an advanced CEF level C1, C2 speaker of English. I should hope so, because I grew up speaking English. English is my native language. unfortunately, many people do not seem to have a very high proficiency with English and English grammar, even though they grew up speaking English. Obviously, in casual conversation, you will ignore some of these rules. And in my opinion, it's the kind of thing where if you know the rules, it's okay to break them sometimes. And obviously, English is a living language. People can express themselves however they want to express themselves, but it's about being clear and making yourself understood. So if you put a sentence on a YouTube comment in which you say, your, as in you are, and then you don't spell it with an apostrophe R-E, then you're not being clear. That's something that you need to look into. You need to be... The purpose of language is to communicate, and if you are going to take the time to communicate with somebody, you should try to communicate in the clearest way possible so that the meaning that you are trying to convey cannot be misunderstood. That's my opinion on grammar. I'm trying not to sound like a stuck-up little prick, and again, I make mistakes sometimes. We all make mistakes sometimes, but maybe it's a good idea to look into your grammar. Maybe try to improve a little bit. Do some exercises, even if you are a native English speaker, as I am. It never hurts to study up, and I do that on occasion as well. So hopefully you guys found that interesting. I found it interesting. I was shocked and appalled when I saw that I got one wrong, but I didn't really get one wrong. You saw the footage. I said get. But gang, thanks so much for watching. I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things, testing my grammar. Until next time, until we meet again, I'll see you later.